The 7th month is here right now, and most people will talk about taboos like don't whistle at night, don't open your umbrellas indoors, don't watch horror ghost movies, etc. But today I want to share something different, particularly about the 7th month, which may be something that you have not heard about before, but it actually has been existing. Something a little bit more modern or even psychological, which could affect your mental and physical health, especially if you live in a small 38 square meter flat like me. Because the 7th month is not just something spiritual, it is also about something more seasonal. You see, the 7th month right now means that we have already passed the middle of the year. The earth is shifting not just in terms of the seasons, but also in things like the temperature. And in humid countries like Singapore, our weather here swings between hot and cold, and humidity rises. And from traditional Chinese medicine point of view, high humidity normally will cause dampness around everywhere. And this dampness can also happen in your body. Just in case if you don't know what exactly dampness, in Chinese medicine word we call it 湿气, which often means something like a sluggish, heavy feeling in the body. And this dampness is what causes us to be tired, sluggish, mentally foggy, and also most importantly, very prone to sickness. And that's why if you may have noticed, quite a lot of people will tend to fall sick during this period. And that also means that this 7-month period is the time where we need to try to rest more, focus more on recovery, and have lesser stimulation. Now let's go back to this 38 square meter flat, why it is particularly very important. Because you must know one thing, 38 square meter is really quite small. Everything can become amplified. And so because the space is so small, everything that you do, every words or things that you say, and even every emotion that you felt can get stronger. Any form of energy, whether is it emotional, acoustic, or even spiritual, it can become louder and heavier in a small space. Echoes bounce stronger, pressure feels heavier, and emotional residue lingers longer. As compared to a bigger home, this energy, the space can be more spread out evenly. But unfortunately, in a small space, in a small home like this, it actually bounces back to you. So what exactly do we mean here? If you are calm, the whole space will feel calm. If you are peaceful, the whole space here will feel peaceful. But if the energy is negative, for example, anger, shouting, cursing and swearing, scolding vulgarities, or even stress, that impact becomes heavier too. And so that means smaller homes amplifies everything. Sound echoes get louder, emotions linger longer, stress feels heavier, and even your own thoughts can feel more and reveal through your face, simply because there's no space to escape. Whatever energy that you put out, whether it's good or bad, the home will reflect it back to you. That's why keeping peace and calm in the home is very important if you live in a small space like this. It should not be just a habit, but it should be a form of self-care too. And it is especially important during this period of the 7th month. So here are some very important things that you should never do, especially during this period of the 7th month if you live in a small space like this 38 square meter home. Number 1, don't curse and swear or shout or even scold vulgarities. Traditionally, people believe that wrathful energy can attract wrathful unseen beings. So when you shout or curse and swear or scold whatever vulgarities, you actually create that kind of signal that draws these negative spirits and negative entities closer to you. Now, from a psychological point of view, even if you don't believe in spirits, there is also scientific evidence. Scolding harsh vulgarity languages creates cortisol, and that shouting also increases adrenaline, and anger activates the stress center in your brain. And in this small home here, such emotional residue has nowhere to escape. It could stay around the space, in the air, it stays in your body, it stays around in the environment. And then your home actually remembers this kind of emotion. So therefore, please treat your home gently. Don't ever try to always have this habit of scolding, swearing, and shouting and, using bad languages. The second taboo, the second point here is don't create loud noises. Now, from traditional folklore about the 7th month, those wayang stages that you see are meant to attract those unseen beings. Because all these kind of noises, loud noises, or even begging, or even shouting, or even just innocently slamming the door, this kind of actions create noises and it can somehow invite wandering spirits to be attracted. And therefore, these wandering spirits will stay and watch. Now, from a psychological point of view, noise creates stress. Stress reduces clarity. Noise makes you impulsive, and impulsiveness leads to poor decisions. And as usual, in this very small space here, 38 square meter, such noises can become more sharper and overwhelming. There is no buffer zone, and thus your nervous system gets overloaded easily. So always remember, noise clouds your peace, and peace is what helps you to make wise choices. So therefore, please try to avoid creating any unnecessary loud noises in your small homes. The third point, which is another taboo, which is don't host too many people at your home. And again, from the traditional folklore point of view, the 7th month is supposed to be a yin period, a time where energy is low. Inviting too many people to come to your home, to visit your home, is actually creating this imbalance in the yin and yang. But from a psychological point of view, there is also an explanation. Because this 7th month happens just right in the middle of the year or just after the middle of the year. And this is the period where people tend to get burned out easily, motivation can drop and dip, and also emotional fatigue can accumulate. Hosting people in your house can actually drain your energy. You absorb their emotions. And in a very small home like this, you don't have any private corner to retreat. No buffer zone and no space for recharging. And that's why always remember, this 7-month period is the best time for resting, retreating, and rebuilding your energy. Hosting can wait, but your peace cannot. And the last point I want to mention over here is don't overstimulate your home environment. Now, because this 7th month is also the yin period, and thus too much activity or noise or movements, they can create this yang chaos that clashes with the season. And from a psychological point of view, overstimulation is what creates tension, and it is one of the biggest forms of stress in small homes like this. Overstimulation means too much sensory input entering into your nervous system at once. For example, there can be too many things that you want to do, or your home have got too much clutter, or if you are using too many screens, too many phones, too many laptops, or looking at the screen, or too much overthinking. So you see, in a small 38 square meter, you actually can see things more clearer and easy. Your furniture, your bed, your sofa, your laundry, your work, and that also includes things like the clutter that you have in your home. And when you see so many of these things, it actually stimulates your brain, your nervous system gets overloaded, your mind becomes cramped, your thoughts become heavier, and your emotions become more sensitive. And that's why during the 7-month period, which is a yin period, your body needs calm and not chaos. So always do your best to reduce stimulation. Try to avoid looking too much or spending too much time looking at social media, at a screen. Reduce your screen time. Try your best to avoid having too many clutter in your home. Try to let yourself be absorbed in peace and quietness. When your home is calm, your mind is also calm. And when your mind is calm, your life becomes easier. So as a closing message for this video, the 7-month period is not about superstition or about ghosts, although maybe it can be. It is also about being mindful of your energy, mindful of your emotions, mindful of your mental health, your physical health, especially when you live in such a small home where everything can be felt more deeply. So during this 7 months, do your best to protect your peace, protect your space, and then your home can be a sanctuary for your body and mind.